Hey everyone, welcome to Wisdom. This is your host Prathis, and thank you very much for everyone who's listening to my videos and has subscribed. And wherever you are, it's good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. I just have this random ordering of fishing people, and so some housekeeping, right? So thank you very much for your support. Please leave your comments below so I can actually make some changes to the way I'm making my videos, if that's what you want. And also I'm seeing a lot of people are actually interested in my Bitcoin titled videos. So as you all probably wish, I'm going to do that. Before that, I'm keeping myself healthy. um, Today I kind of snapped my trainer, so kind of like my indoor trainer's kind of gone funny, so no more cycling until I fix that part. But I'm planning to go for a run today, right? So that's the fitness update from my side. And without further ado, let's go to the video. So today we're going to talk about, is Bitcoin a scam? Because a lot of people seems to say that. Even the people like I admire and look up to also say that part, like because they can't make sense out of it. So if Bitcoin's a scam, in my theory, gold shall be a scam as well. So why do I think that? And with all that going on the side, Bitcoin has actually now gone below $90,000, right? And gold is going up. So has this anything to do with this? What is a greater fool theory? So all these proponents who are against Bitcoin says that Bitcoin is is only working because it's a greater fool theory, right? So say for example, whoever bought the Bitcoins earlier has to sell it to someone who is willing to pay the higher price. And so if I bought it, I'm a fool, and then I had to find a greater fool who is willing to pay more for that. And if that's the case, I think kind of gold works the same as well. What people don't forget is gold also has an industrial use, right? A lot of iPhones, a lot of phones, a lot of semiconductors have gold in it, right? So, but mainly gold works as a store of value because people wear gold as jewelry, and a lot of central banks use as accumulation. But the problem is, I think Bitcoin also has that same value proponent. The only problem is it's very early days now. We are only like around 15 years, 16 years past. And a lot of governments has actually trying to ban it, and censorship resistant, and censor it, and all that kind of things went. As I always say to a lot of people that who talk to me knows that every day Bitcoin pass is getting stronger and stronger because it has a decentralized network. A lot of people also come and say that Bitcoin also has this problem called it's regulated. Now it's not going to be a decentralized money. My rebuttal for that is the network itself is now decentralized. Like, we don't know who runs the network, right? A lot of people run it. I'm sure that a lot of concentration and whatever, but it can be all like perfect, rosy, and pinky about everything, right? So a lot of people trying it, and it's not that someone can stop you from doing it. Anyone can do it. Even I can run a miner from my room and do those things. So it is centralized in the sense that certain pools have more control, but it's decentralized because anyone can take control anytime. But the more and more time it goes, the more and more energy it takes, right? Because what people realize or don't realize is Bitcoin has a infinite or limited amount of supply, which is 21 million, and also you need energy. It's called proof of work. You need energy to mine the Bitcoins, and the more people mine, the more energy it will take, right? So if people think that it's not worth it, then they will stop mining, and then the energy usage will go down, and it will work that accordingly, right? So that's the part where people don't realize. But it's more than one person to explain it all through. But the point of this is right, this is surviving. But I still would recommend people not to put all their money into Bitcoin. Bad idea, right? People like me who were early adapters still wouldn't do that, right? Don't depend on the money that you're putting in Bitcoin, because you're thinking, oh, I want to buy a house, or I want to save to my retirement and whatever, and I'm going to put all my money into Bitcoin because it has actually went up 50% compounding for the last 20 years, right? Future it's not guaranteed. The past performance is not going to repeat. We don't know. Tomorrow the network can collapse and everything goes to zero, right? I have a small advice here, but this is not financial advice, right? Rather than buying gold, right? Because when you buy gold, it's physical and you have to store it somewhere, and they have come up with ETFs, right? So what the ETFs does is like you buy the ETF and you have exposure, but you don't own physical gold. That also had its advantages and disadvantages, right? JP Morgan was fined a couple of years back, or a few years back, if I recall it right, for perpetual contracts. What perpetual contracts? All these, leverage contracts about gold. And it was told that they were manipulating the market and they were fined around $200 million. That's nothing, right? So the same is now, is true or might happen for Bitcoin as well. If you're going to say that Bitcoin is being used for a lot of scams, US dollar is actually probably the most, product is or the currency used for illicit activities, right? So no one is going to ban US dollar, right? So that's what it's all about, context, right? So people, I am not saying that this is great and this is not great, right? It has its own issues. That's what we have to realize. And it's going from 123,000 all-time high to now $86,000 make no difference, because it's a long-term play, right? I'm not going to call it an investment, right? This is an asymmetric bet and see how it works, right? I think 4 years ago someone reminded me that I actually predicted the price to be $100,000. Like that video is still there, and I was great, but I'm not going to like pump on my own horns. It's just that it doesn't work like that, right? It's a prediction that you give, but I don't think I am going to build a community or a channel just giving predictions. That's a bad idea, right? I'm going to work hard towards not doing that, because a lot of people are there to do these things. So think about this idea, right? Before I go, I want to say this, right? So if you want to buy gold, right, after ETF, they have something called gold miners, right? So the people who mine gold, they have free cash flow. The proponents of gold says gold is an asset, but then it doesn't have free cash flow, right? So, but then the company which mines gold has a free cash flow. The same theory can be true for Bitcoin or the cryptocurrencies, right? Rather than going and buying Bitcoin as a direct asset, you can actually have exposure to these Bitcoin proxy companies. They are not exactly proxies, they are like exchanges, like, for example, Coinbase, which is great. I think when Bitcoin goes up, Coinbase goes up as well. And when it goes down as well. Same volatility, kind of. It went all the way down to $30. Now it's around $250. It used to be around $350. So it's kind of tracking. And also you need to know that Coinbase is actually one of the largest Bitcoin custody holders, right? And also there's something called Circle, which is actually the stablecoin providers. If you see, I don't know how many people follow these things, there's a duopoly in payment market, right? I know I'm just like feeding a lot of information, but just bear with me, right? Visa and MasterCard has the duopoly. Like they almost process all the transactions. And these bigger companies like Amazon and Costco and Walmart, they were complaining that we have to give a big cut. So by going into stable coins, we might be able to save some money. And that kind of like suppressed the prices of Bitcoin, not the Bitcoin, I'm very sorry, Visa and MasterCard, right? And the company who issues stable coins or has a massive monopoly over it, I would say a duopoly, because, but then the regulated side, it's a monopoly, which is USDC or Circle. So instead of actually going and buying Ethereum or Bitcoin, it's better to also have an exposure to Coinbase and Circle, which is actually like MicroStrategy, but they are like more of an exchange. So whenever they make money on the bull market, this will also go up. And also they have a free cash flow, and so they have to make money, pay salaries, their taxes and whatever, and it's a regulated thing. So it's about exposure. But if you are a purist, yeah, you have to buy Bitcoin and keep it on a ledger or like a MetaMask or a private wallet with the seed phrases. So just remember all these things, right? Don't panic because the price is fluctuating, because in the short term it's a voting machine, in the long term it's a weighing machine. We don't know what's the use cases, we don't know how it's going to survive, we don't know what type of or shape is going to be in 10, 20 years. But from whatever I've seen in the past, everyone tried almost everything and they couldn't cripple it. So it's getting stronger and stronger. It's like a child, right? It's growing up and now it's coming to its mature stage. And anything can happen. So that's why don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Have exposure to it because it's a volatile asset. It will give you great returns, if anything to go by. But even if it doesn't, you play the game because nothing is a guarantee. That's the most important thing, right? In investments, nothing is a guarantee. And I'm not calling Bitcoin as an investment or crypto as an investment, but it's a speculative play. But people are coming up with a lot of use cases now. You can even pawn Bitcoin and borrow against it as a loan to value. So there's a great things going on. Do a lot of research. This is the thing, right? Learning never stops. Famously, Warren Buffett read a lot of books. I'm sorry, I'm keep bringing Warren Buffett because he's more than a life figure, and I learned a lot from him. And I would love you guys to learn a lot from him as well. So read a lot of books. Be you know doubtful about things. Don't trust everything. Don't fall for scams. Right? Just be careful about it. And no one comes into something with all the expertise. I've learned everything myself, and I'm pretty sure that if I can do it, anyone else can do it. So just slowly learn, get the idea, have some exposure, because when you have an exposure, you will have the motivation to learn. It doesn't have to be thousands of dollars. You can put like $10 or $20, because whatever goes up, it's going to go up with the exposure. If it goes down or go to zero, you don't give a shit. And if you can't, sorry, excuse my language, if you can't sleep at night, don't put that amount of money. Then just put enough money that you can sleep at night. These are the things that I learned. And thank you very much for listening to my videos. It's a great pleasure meeting you guys again through YouTube, through my channel. And please give me your support and give me your feedbacks. And until then, thank you very much for listening to me. And we'll catch up again very soon, probably in a couple of days. And let's see what's the price of Bitcoin then. Bye bye. See you.